She was forced to sign a prenup by his mother, believing she was marrying into an average family. But what if I told you that same piece of paper held the secret to a shocking twist? A secret that would reveal her own father was a billionaire. You won't believe how this story unfolds. Chloe had always believed in love stories, the kind where two souls connected and the world faded away. Her relationship with Liam was exactly that, a whirlwind romance blossoming into a deep, undeniable connection. Liam, with his kind eyes and gentle humor, was everything she'd ever dreamed of. Their engagement was a joyous affair filled with promises of forever. But then Liam's mother, Mrs. Harrington, entered the picture, and the fairy tale began to fray at the edges. Mrs. Harrington was a woman of impeccable taste and even more impeccable standards. She was polite, almost too polite, with a smile that never quite reached her eyes when she looked at Chloe. Chloe, a talented graphic designer from a modest background, felt the unspoken judgment in every perfectly manicured gesture. The Harringtons were old money, a lineage of success and privilege, and Chloe, in Mrs. Harrington's eyes, was simply not their kind. The first hint of trouble came not from Liam, but from a formal dinner where Mrs. Harrington subtly, yet pointedly, brought up financial prudence and protecting family assets. Chloe brushed it off, but a seed of unease was planted, slowly taking root in the fertile ground of her anxieties. The seed of unease soon bloomed into a thorny reality. A few weeks before the wedding, Liam, looking uncharacteristically uncomfortable, presented Chloe with a pre-nuptial agreement. "My mother insists," he mumbled, avoiding her gaze. "It's just a formality, darling. You know how she is about these things, protecting the family legacy." Chloe's heart sank. It wasn't just a formality, it was a statement. It screamed, "We don't trust you. We think you're after our money." The document, thick with legal jargon, felt like a cold, heavy blanket smothering the warmth of their impending marriage. Mrs. Harrington had made sure it was comprehensive, leaving no stone unturned and ensuring Chloe would walk away with virtually nothing if the marriage ever ended. Chloe, deeply hurt but desperately trying to be understanding, signed it. She loved Liam, and she truly believed their love was strong enough to overcome this hurdle. She just wanted to marry him, to build a life together, and she hoped that one day Mrs. Harrington would truly see her who she was, beyond the glare of her family's fortune. Life, however, has a funny way of throwing curveballs. A few months after the wedding, Chloe received a cryptic letter from a law firm she didn't recognize. It stated that her estranged father, a man she barely remembered and who had been absent for most of her life, had recently passed away. The letter requested her presence for the reading of his will. Chloe had always known her father was a bit of an enigma, a quiet academic who had left when she was very young. She assumed he had lived a simple, perhaps comfortable, life, but nothing more. Curiosity, mixed with a touch of apprehension, led her to the law firm. There, in a grand office overlooking the city, she met a stern-faced lawyer who began to read the will. As the lawyer spoke, Chloe's jaw slowly dropped. Her father, a man she knew as Dr. Elias Vance, was not just an academic. He was, in fact, Elias Vance, the reclusive visionary behind Vance Innovations, a global tech empire. He was a secret billionaire, a titan of industry who had meticulously kept his private life, including his family, out of the public eye. Chloe was his sole heir. The assets listed were staggering. Vast sums of money, sprawling properties, a private jet, a significant stake in a multi-billion-dollar company. She was no longer just Chloe, the graphic designer. She was Chloe Vance, heiress to an unimaginable fortune. The news hit Chloe like a freight train. She, the woman who had just signed away her rights to her husband's family's comparatively modest wealth, was now wealthier than the entire Harrington lineage combined. The irony was almost comical if it hadn't been so deeply personal. She struggled with how to tell Liam, and more importantly, how to face Mrs. Harrington. The truth felt like a weapon, a sudden shift in power dynamics she hadn't asked for. Finally, at a family dinner, the topic of her father came up. Liam, still unaware of the full extent of her inheritance, mentioned her father's passing. Mrs. Harrington, ever so subtly, offered her condolences, adding, "Such a shame, dear." I hope he left you something, at least enough to be comfortable. Chloe took a deep breath. Actually, Mrs. Harrington, she began, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. My father was Elias Vance, and he left me everything. The silence that followed was deafening. Mrs. Harrington's teacup clattered against its saucer, her face draining of color. Liam stared at Chloe, then at his mother, a look of utter disbelief on his face. The air crackled with unspoken words, with the weight of assumptions shattered and prejudices exposed. The revelation sent shockwaves through the Harrington family. Mrs. Harrington, initially speechless, tried to backtrack, offering apologies, attempting to explain away her previous actions. But the damage was done. Chloe, now financially independent beyond anyone's wildest dreams, found a new sense of quiet strength. She didn't gloat or seek revenge. Instead, she focused on what truly mattered: her relationship with Liam. Liam, though initially stunned and somewhat embarrassed by his mother's behavior, proved his love by standing firmly by Chloe. He was genuinely happy for her, and together, they navigated the complexities of her new reality. The prenup, once a symbol of distrust, now seemed almost laughable in its irrelevance. Chloe used her newfound resources to establish a foundation supporting young artists, a cause close to her heart. Mrs. Harrington, humbled and perhaps a little intimidated, slowly began to treat Chloe with genuine respect, realizing that true worth had nothing to do with bank accounts or family names, but with character. Chloe and Liam's love story continued, stronger than ever, built not on conditions, but on understanding, respect, and the unexpected twists of fate that had brought them to this extraordinary place. Wow, what a journey, right? If this incredible story of hidden fortunes and unexpected twists left you speechless, imagine what else we have in store. Join the Black Visionaries family by hitting that subscribe button right now. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and comment below with your thoughts on this shocking revelation. Every single one helps us bring more groundbreaking stories your way. See you in the next one.